Ahoy and welcome. I am Lee the Pirate Tester, and today I am joined by Melissa Fisher. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you. Yes, really nice to meet you, Lee.
Yeah, this is actually the first time we've spoken. So yeah, everyone listening in, if you go, oh, it sounds a bit weird. Yeah, we've never met before other than Twitter.
Yeah, but it's kind of really nice to just connect over voice, I think, rather than tweets. Yeah.
Yeah, make it more human.
Yes, definitely the human element. I really miss that at the moment. But yeah, Twitter has been really great for me this past year, so I don't want to discredit Twitter at all.
Oh no, not at all. It's a, a small way of connecting with people is better than no. It's just nice to have with Racket and other things more ways to do this now.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, yeah, my journey this year has been incredible, and it's all been down to just people, jumping online. I've been able to connect with people across the globe, and it's just been a fantastic experience, and I'm so grateful for it.
Well, that leads into what would be my first question: is what do you do, and what was your journey to getting there?
So at the moment, I'm a test team lead, which is basically a test manager, but with the title of test team lead. I've been doing that for about, I've been at this company for 2 years, but I've been doing management for about 4 years now. So it's really about making people successful, which I'm really passionate about. I want people to do well in their roles. I want them to progress in their careers. But how I kind of got into that, and well, my background is really testing. I love testing. I'm really passionate about it. I love all the theory. I love making software that works for customers. But my journey is I kind of fell into it like some other people. I did a degree in neuroscience, which is a bit wacky. It's all about the brain and behavior. But after my degree, I was really desperate for a job, really, just for money. And I got a role as an account executive at a company called Elateral. And, I managed to do a stint in the, development department. And I found it really interesting, the role, and I was quite good at it in terms of picking up, things, the attention to detail. So what ended up happening was they offered me a role as a tester at the company. And I grabbed it with two hands, and then it's kind of gone on from there, really. I've done various different roles in testing, doing different things. And yeah, it's been a really exciting journey. I'm just so, happy that fell into this path.
I never really go. Okay, neuroscience, huh? That's. I don't think anyone go. What degrees have you got? And I imagine people would expect like computing degrees and those kind of things. Like, how did you decide to go into like do a degree in neuroscience then?
So I'm really interested in science, how things work. Like my A levels were pretty much science based and psychology. So originally I was going to do a degree in biology, but I thought, I just need something a little bit more than that. I'm really interested in kind of psychology and how people work. So I just came across it, really, neuroscience that combined the two, the science, the brain, the psychology, the philosophy. So it was kind of, I saw the degree posted and I thought, why not? Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
And I like as you're saying, like liking to understand like how things work and fit together and so forth. Do you find that that is what made testing appeal to you once you got exposure to it?
Yeah, I kind of see testing a bit like a science experiment sometimes. Thinking about theories, thinking about, we often talk about how we break things, but I think it's just how we think a little bit differently in science, isn't it? And we're always trying to learn a little bit more about something. And I think that the same goes for testing. I don't think we know all there is about testing, and there's lots of things that we can do to explore in the future, perhaps. So it's like really interesting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's like, I know for me, if someone ever says like, don't press that button, I immediately go, what happens if I do? Why can't I press that button?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of like it as a devil's advocate, isn't it? That's what we're there for, really, just to bring in a different perspective and ask those questions. And yeah, I think I've come across those situations where nothing happens if you hit that button, and then you hit it and everything explodes. Yeah.
Well, that they go, it's fine if you press it. And go, what happens if I press it a lot, really fast, like I'm impatient? And when that'll never happen. And when, have you not seen me use a website before? I'm going to press this a lot. Or it's like 20 requests. We don't want that. Well, I'm glad I broke it. You might want to change that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what I find interesting is that, as humans, we're people, and there's different ways that we interact with the software. And a lot of that might stem through like emotions. So you talk about, touching that button a load of times. Maybe the user was frustrated in that example. I'll have to dig it out somewhere, but there's a really interesting thing. It was an article or book I read about tapping into your emotions and like the different types of emotions that we've got and how you can behave in different ways with interacting with software. So you could be like angry or happy or so forth. I don't know if you've come across that before.
No, but I want to know more now. Oh, you're going to have to find it, and when I put this out on Twitter, you're going to have to put a link to it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. I think it was from a book. I've got it somewhere. I just found it really interesting because at the end of the day, people are going to react to different stuff by the way they're behaving. Perhaps they're in a lazy mood or forgetful mood, for example, and they might forget to do things in your applications. So it's kind of covering all those scenarios, isn't it? And remembering that end user.
I can imagine it's also helpful trying to think of like testing personas. Like just because you're not angry when you're trying to use it now, someone might be at some point or forgetful or so forth, and help you think beyond your current position as well.
Yeah, I love the whole personas. I've really learnt more about that in the last couple of years, and it's really crucial, isn't it, to understanding what who you're building it for.
That's the thing, especially if you're like, I found if I'm around very techie people, then they're like, oh, we can do this thing, and like, what about the people who aren't like us? If you go, just put your passwords in the PnP, and like, they won't know what that is. They won't know how to get their passwords out of Chrome, and don't scare them with these things. Like, oh yeah, we didn't think about that.
Yeah, super interesting. But yeah, I'd like to thank you for bringing me in today. It's great to know a bit more about you too.
Thanks. I mean, it's very scary how fast these 8 minutes have flown. We're down to like 10 seconds. So thank you for joining me today, Melissa, and let me get to know about you and discovering you did a degree.
Great, thank you.